Hello, Jeff.
Hello.
How are you?
We're here again. It's
Fancy
Thursday.
meeting you here.
Fancy.
Got a spectacular program today.
Yes.
Jeff, why don't you tell us actually what we're talking about?
We're talking about something that makes Peter's head spin.
Absolutely. 100%. 100%. I Irish exit the room almost every single time this conversation comes up. And if you don't know the Irish exit, look it up. Also, same as flop sweat. It was in the newsletter this week. Someone said to me, "What the hell is a flop sweat? Is that a typo?" I said, "No, this is like profuse sweating and agitation and overly nervous, kind of like the guy that used to on Saturday Night Live with the cigarettes say like."
Oh, from the cigarette company.
Yeah, the cigarette company.
Yes, the lawyer.
Flop sweating. Flop sweating. So yeah. We're talking about business, finance, all that stuff. We've got a great guest. We've got a pop-in guest as we usually do. So let's get straight to it. Finance, boring? It doesn't have to be. We got a great guest today that's going to prove that to you. She's not your CPA's financial coach either. She's the founder of Finance Fight Club. That's right. And we're going to talk about it. So she lives, I don't know if you want to call it a chicken compound, but she lives in Washington with some chickens. She also eats more meat than your keto cousin. And she believes that AI is useful. Oh, and not to mention overrated as well. But her and her family live out in Washington. And I'm going to bring her in here right now so we can get right to the heart of the matter. Please, ladies and gentlemen, welcome CEO and founder of Fight Club, Financial Fight Club, Natalie Cook. Natalie, you're on.
Welcome.
Hi. So fun to be here.
I love it. And
I love talking about finance.
I love it. And look, I'm not leaving the room. Okay.
That's good.
Yeah. I'm going to stay.
I mean, we're not in the same room, so I don't know if that counts, but
if I start sweating profusely
before we started, so
maybe I can use AI to hide the profuse sweating, that the flop sweating I'm about to be doing. But actually I'm okay when we're not talking about my finances. We could talk about anybody's finances. And I'm cool with that. Okay. So we wanted to talk to you about, some financial truths, some things that people don't know, some things that you should know, and maybe are avoiding. What about the kind of money that grows your business and not just funds your next farm animal, of course? We'll get to all of that. But, I was talking about this in my newsletter and saying your finances are not a haunted attic. Would anyone here agree or disagree? You can drop a little comment in there. And, if you're also here, which you should be here, I'm telling you, if you're not here, you're missing out. We're going to take questions. So if you have finance questions you'd like to see if Natalie can answer, Jeff might have an opinion on that too, but don't listen to anything I say about finance because you'll end up in prison. All right. So a couple of things to think about here. Most small business owners, they probably are a little bit apprehensive about getting into their own finances. They know that haunted attic, it's up there. They know that it matters, but they sure as hell don't want to go digging around in it. So Natalie, let's just get to it. First of all, Finance Fight Club. How did it begin? What lit this spark for you and the magic of finance?
Yeah. So actually, August is my 5th anniversary of being like fully committed to being in finance with small business owners. I was in corporate finance. I have an MBA in finance. I worked in grant making for a long time. I just loved explaining to business owners what was actually happening in their business. And finance is just the language of business. So when you pivot it to that way, it's just telling a story. It's not supposed to be complicated. It's meant to be complicated so that people don't know what's going on. And it's not taught. And that's the frustrating part. I was sitting in my MBA class when I was 29, and I was like, I could have learned this when I was 15. And I just remember being so angry that I didn't learn this when I was 15. Like I took calculus. I didn't need calculus. I never used calculus. I use finance every day, regardless of whether I'm focused on a business or not.
Yeah.
So that I just have a passion for explaining that to people and making it not scary. I don't want it to be a haunted attic. I want it to be a nice, cozy field of daisies.
Oh, there you go. Nice. So how are we going to make that happen, right? What's your approach? What kind of businesses do you generally work with?
We work with any business that has a big goal. We typically, I know you guys are on branding. We typically stay away from inventory based, mostly because there's just a lot of accounting pieces in that. And I want to focus on the decision making, the strategic decision making that moves businesses forward. I'm very passionate about getting owners paid very well so that they can reach their long-term financial goals. Most business owners are very underpaid. They don't know how to pay themselves. They don't know what to do. And then they're just focused on, I'm going to sell this business for a lot of money, but that's actually a really hard thing to do. So I want you to run a business now that sustains you so you can take that money and then build long-term wealth.
Okay. I like that. I like all of that there, Natalie. I like it all. Yes, please.
Approach is a very coaching, open. If you don't understand this, we're going to take every time that you want to understand what's going on in your business. I just want everything to be clear. If you don't understand, we're going to spend a whole hour explaining what a profit and loss and a balance sheet and a cash flow are saying. I would love to work myself out of my job. That's my goal with every client.
Okay. Right on. Right on. I see we've got a few guests here coming in. We got Richard Moniz. We've got Robert, who's eagerly awaiting. Of course, the lovely and talented Allison Clay and Natalie Cook, who's on with us. So we've got a few more people ducking in and around. If you have any questions about finance and your business, we are open to taking those questions and trying our best to answer them as well. This is, hello, somebody's calling me. I don't know who that is, but whatever.
Is it the IRS?
We just put them on and we'll ask them finance questions.
I don't know who it is. It says it's I don't know. It says maybe Derek Butts. I don't know who the heck Derek Butts is, but it sounds like Bart Simpson, like chicken calling me is what it sounds like. Ivana Mann is calling my cell phone while we're on this.
It's Amanda Hug and Kiss, I think.
Amanda Hug and Kiss. That's what I was looking for.
Yeah.
Yes. Jeff, you're kind of, the financial end of our business is kind of in your purview. And as I told Jeff, I want to know if we've got a problem, and don't tell me on a Friday. Wait till Monday. But you must have some thoughts or things that you think about in the course of our
Absolutely. So let me just frame this. I actually left college in a business course because of an accounting class. I just want to put that out there. I hated accounting, but this was before a lot of technology. So I'm dating myself, but there were, we were doing a ledger, and I was like, there's no way that I could do this in a professional manner. It was so not me. That being said, I ended up working for a big company, and among my mentors was the VP of finance for the company. And so I ended up learning a lot of stuff that I thought was absolutely horrible. It actually turned out to be such a benefit to me, learning Excel spreadsheets and formulas and understanding budgets, because at the time I was managing a marketing department with a budget. We had advertising, we had payroll, we had all the different pieces. And it soon became clear that this is how businesses run to me, right? It wasn't just people doing things, but there was management in terms of costs and cost of goods on things and overhead and all that kind of stuff. And so I actually absorbed all of that stuff. And I really think in terms of our own business, we're in a better place than we were a few years ago, simply because we were able to get organized. We hired a professional like yourself, Natalie, and we were able to get it into a place where, we do get paid. We were on payroll now. So, like 3 years ago, we weren't on payroll. Like, we were just putting distributions out. And I think for a lot of businesses, they have to start lean, and they have to start, their bootstrapping or whatever. But getting your business really organized in a way where you can predict cash flow and things like that, I think is so essential for a lot of businesses, especially when they're in that from startup to they're kind of in that growth period. They have to get the house in order, and I'm sure you can speak to this now better than I can. They have to get the house in order to be able to scale.
Yes. Well, when you're scaling, you're making decisions constantly, but if you don't have the data, you can't make strategic decisions. So you're kind of just guessing, which is, some people are really good at it. I've seen some business owners, I'm like, wow, you got really far without having this foundation. But most kind of flounder, or they're just terrified all the time. Like, they just never know what's going on. And that, to me, freaks me out. Like, I don't like to not know what's going on. So yeah, building that foundation and then having some knowledge of what's going on in your business, understanding how your business works, then you can scale it. You can't scale it without that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think the other thing, I mean, this is going to go back to the kindergarten questions. What's the difference between like a CPA, bookkeeper, accountant? What is really, because I'm never quite sure what I'm doing.
Yeah. So a CPA is a certification. That's what it's like, a course. It's like getting a master's degree. Not all CPAs do accounting or tax or bookkeeping or CFO. You can have CFOs that are CPAs or not CPAs. So it's just a letters at the end of your name. You did 3 years of school. You took a test. They're great. It's a great education system. Like, CPAs are great, but they don't all do the same thing. And then there's the actual different financial roles. So bookkeepers, they are recording transactions, reconciling your accounts to your bank account to make sure everything's correct. They're just recording things. Then there's tax folks, and sometimes they're called accountants. Sometimes the bookkeepers are called accountants. But then there's the taxes. So they're filing your taxes or providing tax strategy. And then there's the CFO, which is really, in a big business, they're doing lots of things. In our view, we are decision support. So we're helping with the analytics. We're overseeing bookkeeping and tax, making sure those compliance things, looking forward to see what risks might happen, but mostly partnering with the owners of the business to help them make strategic decisions. Can you hire? Can you add a new line? Can you increase your margin? And then managing cash flow and helping with budgeting and forecasting. Okay.
That's great to know, because that's the thing. I'm always like, are we hiring this? Are we doing that? Who's doing what? Are they qualified to be doing this or not? I have a question here from Allison Clay. And it doesn't seem to be popping up as something I can put on the screen. Jeff, do you see it on your end?
It's not on this side, but
I'll read the question here, and we'll see what we can do about it. I don't know. Maybe it's not a question. Maybe it's a statement. Finances are often overlooked for so many small business owners who are able to make payroll and keep the lights on. But it's also important to have an educated finance expert on board, whether it's fractional or FT. Okay. Not a question, but a statement. Makes sense?
Yeah. I would agree with that. I think that there are different use cases for different types of businesses, but you need bookkeeping, you need tax, and you need strategy that can look very different depending on the type of business. I just talked to an owner of a law firm that they're at like 5 million. They want to move to 10 million. I said, you know what? I think based on what you're saying and how you want to run your business, you should hire internally. A fractional CFO, not about the revenue, but about how he wanted to run his business, is not going to be what you want. You want someone who's an employee, who's a partner, who can do some of these things. So that's just what you need. Everybody needs bookkeeping, because you can't do tax and you can't do CFO without bookkeeping. So that's the basic level. And you can do it yourself. I don't recommend it usually, unless you've done it before. But that's the first thing I would outsource.
Okay. And then Robert here, Bobby Buckets, I think.
Yes, Bobby Buckets.
Not Roger Butts or whoever called me before. And next time somebody calls in the middle of one of these shows, everybody, I'm just going to take the damn call. And
I think that would be fun, actually.
That'd be great.
You can watch firsthand how I treat cold call marketers. Depends on how I'm feeling. Could
That's
be good.
true.
Could be bad.
I just don't answer the phone. That's what I do.
Yeah, sometimes I'm compelled, Natalie, to just answer and, see where we can go with it. I think my favorite is telling them I'm Detective Butch Cassidy, and they've reached a crime scene of a murder, a horrible murder, and I want to know what's calling the victim's phone. They usually hang up immediately. So Robert's got a question more so on personal finance, and Jeff, you may have some some thoughts on this too, because you've gone through it recently.
Yes.
Rob's an employee, but what did folks do for kiddos' college funds? He says it's coming up sooner than I thought. Any insight? Just, I don't know if it's definitely not my expertise. I told my kids, you better learn something really quick. We're not sure. But what do you guys think? Are there still the U fund and the 529 fund? And
I'm not an expert on it, but I know people who are. So you can always connect with me on LinkedIn and send me a message, and I'll get you connected to the right personal financial folks. But yeah, saving for big things is a big part of what we do in CFO. We just do it on the business side, not on the personal side.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is, one thing that you're going to learn is this acronym called FAFSA. That's going to be big on, and what it is they determine how much you have to put in and how much can be borrowed, in terms of federal loans. And so, whatever can't be borrowed, if you're at the max or whatever, then you have to come up with it some other way. So you have a couple of different options. You either, put it against the house. You can get loans, you can get loans, college loans that are outside of the federal system. But there's two kinds of loans in the federal system. There's and I think the maximum it's like $5,500 a year. So my advice to you is, number one, the more that you make, the more that you have to come up with. I mean, obviously that's how it works. And then if you can send your kids to a state school like I did, you can save a lot of money there. And then scholarships help as well. I mean, the whole thing is basically you have to figure out what you can afford, each semester. And then, a lot of the colleges have payment plans as well built in.
Okay. My daughter asked how long college was, and I was like, depends on what you want to be, and she's like,
1 more year.
Okay. She's 13.
My daughter wants to start a business and not go to college. So we're hoping that's, pay for it when you feel like doing it.
Yeah. And we've got some advice here from Allison about moving to Florida for a variety of reasons, which, could be an option for many of you.
Sure.
Before we go any further, and I don't want to catch him off guard, so hopefully he's paying attention. We've got our repeat return visitor guest here, and this is going to be Robert Cogan. He's the guy that gets shit done. If you got to get your beverage product into Canada, well, he's going to do better than just shoving a bunch of it under his shirt and into his trousers and running across the border through the woods. He's got a very specific process in which he helps brands and beverage brands get onto store shelves, get into the hands, get into the stomachs and bellies of people all over Canada. And we're going to bring him in to talk about whatever the hell he wants. So, ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for Mr. Robert Cogan.
Robert.
Hi, Jeff.
He's here.
Hi, Natalie.
Hey.
Well, whatever it is I want to talk about, I guess I'm going to have to, stay with the theme that's going on here.
Okay.
And I love the name Natalie Fight Club.
Thank you.
Because that's sort of consistent with the way I approach the topic. And I got some training in real estate, because when you're a real estate professional, you've got to go Dr. Phil in the first 5 minutes. How much money do you have? And then you got to do that sensitive. Okay, you're full of shit. Now tell me how much money you really have.
No one really wants to tell you, business or personal, the real story. It takes a lot of questions.
Yeah. And now let's just translate. I actually refer to my real estate training when I speak to brands, and this can meander on in all sorts of topics. I love Rob's inquiry about getting ready for the future and how to be smart, and that is a whole 1 hour podcast weekly for 52 weeks a year on how to do that stuff. And I will say, Rob, the answer I'll give you is just do it. My buddy Paul, who I went to university with, got me a life insurance right after university. And I can't tell you how happy I am that I've got a life insurance plan that doesn't require any medical. And coincidentally, he called yesterday to check in. And you know what I said? the granddaughter is 4 months old. We're already 4 months too late getting her started on saving money and building up her whole thing. And the 28-year-old son of mine who fathers that young granddaughter is also I could bring into the conversation. But staying on the loop I was on with that real estate Dr. Phil approach, I use it with brands as well. My first conversation with brands are, when did you escape the asylum? I did a few weeks ago. They're looking for me now.
Still looking for you.
Yeah. And Brandaholism, missed you at the last Sunday meeting at Brandaholics Anonymous. And does your family know what you're doing? And then how much money are we going to blow? Because you better have a couple $100,000. And I'm right beside you with my 5 to 10.
Awesome.
Do all the shipping and all the free fills and all the running around and make sure we get what we got to get done in Toronto. And to quantify what Peter was referring to, a truck is in Southfield this afternoon, Michigan, picking up a bunch of product for some independent stores. Some brands that I despise that are so low level, and some brands that I love and I work with. And we get that up to the Toronto area. We get them delivered to a small group of retail stores and a few select distributors.
Okay.
And we do a lot of sneaky stuff because a lot of this business is like selling weed in high school, unfortunately. And the characters that you deal with, we don't like dropping bad news. You only want to say good stuff and leave all the bad stuff out there. But the dastardly backroom poker playing blood sport tactics that are involved in our business is disturbing. But that's a bit of a tangent. Getting back and steering right back to the topic that's on the table here, financing and understanding your money. I can't tell you how much I echo the importance of emphasizing some type of control and actually looking at your P&L, looking at what you're spending. And then the other thing, which is sort of contrarian to the whole process, is you got to be nuts and crazy a little bit. You got to be ready to send a pallet up and just get it into stores and see if that magical, Richard Moniz knows about this magic, the eyes to the brand, is it going to be grabbed? Right. And when you do that and you are prepared to invest in that, then you can go look at building your business. I'm in the middle of a situation now where I have a good friend who's got a great brand from overseas. And he says, yeah, Loblaws. Yeah, just go. I'll get you the vendor number. Go. And I said, no, I'd rather work with my buddies who are already selling to Loblaws. Those of you who don't know what Loblaws is, you should. They're the 4th largest food retailer in North America. Canada's #1. They're sort of like Kroger, Albertsons, Costco, Walmart. They're on that list. And my attitude is I don't want to have to learn or take 5 years developing relationships. But going into what you are obviously schooling people on, Natalie, which is you think you're going to get a case out of your warehouse at $20 and then get it to a distributor that's going to for $27.
Yep.
Loblaws, Kroger, whoever it is going to come back with a huge amount of costs. And really at the ground level of building a brand and going to small stores and farmers markets, we have no clue what you're getting into when it comes to things that like Will understands from IQ Bar, building a brand and scaling it methodically and understanding all of the bill backs, all of the costs. I don't want to have to learn that. I'm partnering with a company, United Dairy, that already sells across the country to Loblaws and Walmart and all those guys. And in an attempt to try to be funny, we all love movies. Some of them are biblical. And I keep on referring to the Scarface line. We lose 1 out of every 9 loads. No matter what you do in life, you're going to lose 1, whether you're driving to work in the morning or taking your kids to school. 1 out of 9 times there's going to be a construction, an accident. You're going to be late. It's going to screw up everything. 1 out of 9 times the truck will not arrive on time. Your production run will screw up. Whole Foods needs their delivery on Tuesday and it's Thursday and it has to go out tomorrow, but it's not ready till Monday.
Yeah.
We all have friends that are going through that perpetually. So yeah, it is critical. On one hand, you got to be crazy and have the money to spend.
Yeah.
On the other hand, when you are getting there, and I'm going to just leave it there right now and say goodbye, because I could go on for 5 minutes on how we actually took 2 years. And this week, we're actually getting 4 truckloads coming in, all beverage, 4 trucks getting filled up with the airbags where they're supposed to be, where the straps are where they're supposed to be. And what that does is that eliminates all of the damages, all of the extra confusion that happens when they're not loaded properly and the pallets aren't in the right way. And it takes such a long time. So it's such hard work to get there, but you got to have the money to lose and know that you have to be adventurous. And again,
Yeah,
that's the Fight Club name. I love it.
Such a good point, because no matter what business you run, you'll have money waste. And that's what people don't often put in their budgets or forecasts.
Yes.
Yep.
And that is where all the cash goes, is those mistakes. You are going to make mistakes. You have to budget for it, whether it's actual product damage or an unhappy customer that you have to refund, or you hired the wrong person and then you have to go rehire. Like, those things are normal. And I think that's what flips business owners up about finance, is they just don't put that in there. They're like, well,
Yes.
everything's perfect. And that's just not how business works.
Yeah, and now my final closer will be a good thing that you just brought to mind, Natalie. It's a hopeful thing.
Yeah.
Very often over the past couple of years, for mine and my son's business, the one that he's developed, 100% nightmare disasters over the past 10, 12 years are now coming full circle, where something good is happening because of the person that you met during that absolute 6-figure disaster in 2008, 12, 13. So always have hope, because when the 1 out of every 9 loads that blows up in the air, and you've got to come up with the 5, 10, 50, 100 grand and just absorb it. Just have faith that what goes around comes around, and that's usually a negative thing, but it's a good thing too, because sometimes things come around from disasters that end up adding an extra $500,000 or $1 million in sales, translating into a nice 50 to 60 triple net.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
I love that.
Profit to put on the table for everybody.
Well,
I need that cross-stitched on a pillow, but maybe a little more condensed.
or just a
Love
big
that.
pillow. Hey, Robert, thanks for coming in with us today. I appreciate
it
it.
was so great.
You,
Thanks, guys.
if you're around, hang on, listen to some more. Who knows? But we'll talk afterwards about some of those potential giveaways next time, so that we can do a scotch better than this by the end of the show.
I don't know. That's nostalgia, eBay, hot stuff.
Nice.
Yeah.
But, what am I doing here running around this office looking for something to give people? I don't know. My wife would probably be furious. Anyways, man, have a great rest of your day, okay?
And you guys too, and I'll enjoy the
Thank you
rest
so
of the
much.
podcast. Cheers,
And if
guys.
you don't know Robert, hook up with him on LinkedIn
I
and
know.
enjoy the ride. Catch you later, Robert.
Cheers, guys.
All right, kids. So, hey, by the way, I loved that. Thank you for having him in here. And I love when this show sort of takes on guests talking to each other. It's a good vibe. It's a good feel. And I think a lot of people needed to hear some of this stuff. I do have a question from Rob Unger again about financial advice for nonprofits specifically. Do you have any experience in that, Natalie?
Yeah. I used to work in grant making. I don't love working with nonprofits. No offense to the nonprofits, but they tend to be chaotic. They're run by boards. So there's a lot of different decision makers, which is very, very challenging. Not too different from when we worked with a lot of venture-backed companies and they have boards and there's a lot of decision makers. I think the hard, challenging piece for nonprofits is that you are beholden to your funders. And those funders sometimes can say, hey, here's $500,000, but you have to spend it this way. So they can only go and do that thing. But their long-term goals are different. So my financial advice is the same as just any nonprofit advice. If you are going to go seek nonprofit funding, grants, whatever, don't take money from people you are not aligned with. It's never going to help you in the long run. That's true for any business. If you're fundraising for profit or nonprofit, that will just cloud your judgment and cloud what you're doing. And then from a financial lens, just track things, get really good tax and bookkeepers for nonprofits specifically, because you can risk losing your status if you don't do those things correctly in a much higher level that for-profits don't have to deal with. So those are my takeaways. Yeah, we don't work with nonprofits, but I know lots of people that do. And we know lots of ways to support. So Rob, feel free to reach out anytime and I'll get you hooked up.
That's great. Great. Thank you for that. Let's go into round 3 here. It could be round 4. I don't know. I blacked out while you guys were talking about numbers so much. Let's talk financial. Let's talk financial fight night challenge here. So I'm going to throw out 3 bad habits. Okay. I'll say them one at a time. You guys, one at a time. Natalie, you first, then you, Jeff, and then I'll skip on this because I don't know what the hell I'm talking about. You're going to say fight or fix. Fight or fix. All right. So, bad habit number 1: running your business from your personal bank account.
Oh, bad. Fix that. Don't do that.
Bad.
Fix that. Okay.
No,
Jeff,
no.
bad. Yeah. All
No,
right.
bad.
All right. Cool.
Yes.
I've never done that. Let's just be clear. I've never done that. So how about not paying yourself? I know I've never done that.
I've never done that.
No, I have. Not paying yourself. It happens. Jeff and I have done it before.
I know. Well, yeah.
Everybody has done it. Everyone has done it. I would say once in a while, if you know why you're making that decision and understand why you're making that decision, it's your choice and you run your business freely the way you need to do it. Ideally fix it, but there are use cases for pushing back on that.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, and I would have to add to that. It was, a lot of times it was knowing that the cash flow maybe was off by whatever, a few days. Yeah. And I'm like, let's just skip one and then we'll figure it out a different way.
Yeah. Cool. Very good. Yeah. Hey, unfortunately, Richard Moniz had to leave. He's got to go sit on his front stoop and wait for the delivery of the Brand Arctica hat we sent him. So thanks for coming.
It's going to take like a week to get.
Which will give someone else an opportunity to clean up big today when we get to the end of the show and ask the question here. Also, I'm going to quick interruption here. The show is not sponsored by Fermentoria in any way, shape, or form. In fact, they probably deny any knowledge of this program at all. But I got this in the mail today. Jeff, you got yours the other day, and I wanted to share. It's a water kefir drink. It's a probiotic bubble water, no sugar or sweeteners, and this flavor happens to be pineapple coconut. So we were talking about making decisions based on making financial decisions based on vibes. Is that a fight or a fix?
I would say half. Like, you need the data, but entrepreneurs have to trust their gut. And a lot of times when you're scaling or you're going into the unknown, you don't have the data. So I am for using your gut strategically.
It's like you've done this a million times. She keeps mentioning gut and vibes, and here we are with something that's good for your gut and tons of vibes. So while we're here, and I'm thirsty, I'm going to listen.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh.
Effervescent.
That sounds super nice. And you said pineapple coconut?
Pineapple coconut, which I'm highly allergic to both. So let's just see what the hell happens.
Great.
Do you have your EpiPen handy?
Oh, my God.
Good?
Shut up. It's great. I love it. I love it. And I'm not just saying that because I have it. It's delicious. It's freaking delicious. Awesome. And I hear that they do have some boozy ones, which
they do have boozy ones.
I'd kind of be interested in that too. But that's all we're going to say about that for the moment here. Why don't we carry forward with a little bit more stuff? Let's talk a little bit more about the emotional side of finance. Because I think that is, I know for me, that's huge. Like, I don't want to, I get really riled up and want to run away. But
why? Let's just do therapy right now.
Yeah, let's do it. I'll should I lay on the couch or
is this Freudian thing?
I suck at math. I'm terrible at it. And things like that start to confuse me. And when I get confused, I shut down. So for me, things I understand are things that are tangible, things I can touch, things I can, I do get the idea that, if you can't make payroll if you don't have anything in there.
Right.
And that there are expenses, like the time Jeff expensed, what was it, $50,000 worth of Easter basket grass.
Yeah, that was,
And then he
that was a
tried to
bad
smoke
move.
it. And then we had
That
to rush
seems
into the
really
emergency room.
Yeah.
It was really weird.
I'm not proud of that moment.
But yeah, those are the things that I just kind of go, I'd rather have my finance in the hands of somebody I trust.
Yeah.
And go, look, it's not that I don't want to know. It's just that I won't even be able to comprehend. So that's me.
That makes sense. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Jeff, what about you when you first started learning, when you hated the accounting course?
Yes.
What sparked the oh, this is interesting?
Because I think at the time that I was learning it, it was specific to the business that I was actually doing marketing for.
Yeah.
And so it gave me an insight. Like there's stuff beyond what we're doing in our department. All these other departments are dependent on what we're doing, but they all have different functions and different costs to the business. And that what we were doing, was moving the products that they've created that had a specific cost and made them more interesting to consumers. So the whole process of it was fascinating to me because it was tied to the actual work that we were doing. And I think that was the disconnect in college. It was just more school for me. I did really well in school through high school. I was always on a roll. It wasn't that. I think I was just bored.
Yeah.
So it wasn't taught to
school.
me in a way that was exciting. And when it was, then I was like, oh, I understand now. I understand that if we buy these parts and pieces and then we assemble them, there's a labor cost added to that. And then we have a cost of goods. And I know that if we sell it to a wholesaler, they have to sell it to a reseller. So at the end of that funnel, there's a retail price, but I know where we started and what it takes to make that product to be at that retail price.
Yeah, I think that's a big thing in getting business owners specifically to understand finance is once you're running the business and you can feel the tangible, you don't physically feel the money necessarily, but you see the effects of good financials versus bad. Then you are like, wait a minute, I can't live without that. A lot of times people just never get to that point. But when it's your business, it's just so different than when it's this abstract, like, what is this? Why would I learn it? But I think that's how humans learn anyway. You don't, it's like 4-year-olds love dinosaurs and trucks because they're interested by them. They don't care about other things. And business owners are not that they're 4-year-olds. That sounds condescending to me that way. But when it's your own baby and you have a reason to learn it, you will learn it. But it's, I think personal finance is still very mystified and people associate that with business finance. You will run it the way you run your personal finances every time. So if you don't have that in order and then you start taking over a business, it's just really scary. And the scale is much worse, right? You're just are not dealing with the same numbers of personal than business. So
What would you then, maybe a couple of quick, easy action items, if there is such a thing, for, to help someone like, let's say me, rebuild their confidence around, the financial conversation?
I would not try to learn any technical terms. I would start with your personal budget and just learn how to budget personally. Like, okay, you have $10,000 of income and you have $8,000 of expenses. What do you do with the other 2,000? Start making those decisions and get really comfortable with that. Figure out what tools you like and how you track it. Because that doesn't really matter as long as it makes sense to you. Figure out how you want to run it and then apply it to a business. Then have someone just say, hey, this is what your profit and loss shows. This is what a balance sheet shows, what cash flow shows, with no judgment, no anything, just this is what it is. And you'll get more confident that way. But I honestly will tell you the times that we've onboarded a client and we're like, hey, but you have a personal budget? And they'll be like, no. And I'm like, okay, so that's why you don't understand business budgeting. And we don't coach that, but I can tell. And so that's usually where I start. And I will say hands down, if a client runs their personal finances really well, even if their business is out of order, they will get that together so fast.
Okay. My wife could tell you that whenever she says, we got to talk about a budget, Peter, I go, okay, hold on one second. I grab my keys. I hop in the car. I drive about an hour and a half north to the
like running out.
top of a mountain. And then I just sit down and go.
I am married to someone who just learned how to log into our business bank account. We've been married for 15 years. He just got his login. So I'm familiar with the type.
Yeah, the type. Yeah, we're a type.
You know what it is too, Natalie? Like when Robert was on and you were talking, it's like, yeah, that's one of the things that my wife and I talk about. It's like it sounds like doom and gloom, but it isn't. It's like, what's the worst case scenario? You know, what if the furnace goes? What if, like very basic things like, what if the car is, the car's old? What if we need to replace the car? Are we doing enough to have enough money for when those things happen? And I mean, we don't go out to eat like 3 times a week or whatever, and those are the kind of things that we have to do. I wouldn't call them sacrifices, especially today when it's like $150 for 2 people to go out to eat. But I would say that we get a little more conservative with our own money because we're trying to have enough money so that when we want to do something, it's there. And
yes,
and I think that's kind of like what I'm trying to instill into my kids is that it's have that money for the rainy day fund or whatever, because something's going to happen to your car. You're going to need tires. You're going to need a muffler. Something the belt's going to break. Something's going to happen that you're going to need money to fix that, because it's not just your car payment. It's that the machine breaks in the factory and you have to buy a new machine. It's $50,000. Did you plan for that?
Yeah, exactly. We just spent a random $700 because our sink was leaking. And in the context of my husband's a builder, so we do all our own stuff at our house. And
nice.
We had a sink brand new sitting in our garage. And I'm like, we'll just replace the sink because I don't like the sink anyway. And then I'm like, we'll just replace the counter. So it went from, in about 30 minutes, a thing that could have been fixed with $20 to a thing that was like a whole 2 days worth of work and $700. And it's just like, if you don't put that in, we just factor in a lot of home costs.
Yeah.
That's what we like to do.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. We were on vacation recently and my wife I was like, oh, I don't know if we have money to do that. She's like, put it on the room. Just put it on the room. We're on this the last day of vacation. Whatever you want to do, bill it to the room. And I was like, oh, I fucking love you.
Well, you still have to pay for the room. I mean,
I know, right?
Yeah, but it was
about it later.
It was like play money now. I was like, buy hats. Like, what do I need another hat for? Now, so let's get personal for a minute, because you've got a really cool life and a really interesting. We've talked a couple of times in the past and super psyched. I think, was it Abby that introduced us?
Yes.
Yeah.
I love Abby.
And we're going to have her on in a couple of weeks too.
Oh, good.
So, would you say you're living, you mentioned chickens, bunnies, kids, chaos. Is it kind of a modern day homestead?
We would love it to be modern day homestead. I live on over 3 acres in Owalla, Washington, which is between Gig Harbor and Port Orchard for those that are local.
Okay.
We moved out of Seattle 2 years ago, gave up the city life, and we had chickens in Seattle, but Seattle's kind of a farm friendly city. Yeah. Now we have 15 chickens.
Wow.
I would love to get more. I have resisted buying baby chicks all summer. I'm very proud. I should get a trophy. But we need a new coop. And so I've been told that I'm not allowed to just get animals until I have the enclosure built, which is not my norm. Again, this is where I waste money. This is my blind spot for finances. I was looking at piling cows on Craigslist last night. So I think we are having visions of a homestead. Although I was told this morning by my husband, I don't want a cheap homestead. So we need to make a lot more money.
I agree with him.
Fabulous.
I agree with him.
Yeah.
That's your goal though, right? That you have a goal.
Yes.
And so now you have to make a plan to get there. That's all.
Yeah. I would like to I would like over the next year to have a more substantial chicken situation where we have a little farm stand and we're kind of more regularly selling eggs. I like to grow a big blueberry patch. We've got 8 immature blueberries that need to be replanted. So we have goals, but I also have 3 kids. So and we have an 8-month-old. So I'm kind of like, well, what can we accomplish a little bit at a time where it's not our entire life?
Right, right. Jeff, do you have a personal question you'd like to fire off at Natalie here? Anything deep, anything super weird.
There was I got thrown off by what was it, chicken situation or something?
Yeah.
Sounds like the name of a good movie, right?
It sounds like one of those recipes you'd find in an old cookbook.
Yes.
What are we having tonight? We're having a chicken situation. It's part casserole.
I'll create a recipe and I'll send it to you guys. It'll be called Chicken Situation.
Chicken Situation.
I'm obsessed with eggs, so
eagerly looking forward to it.
Yeah.
A day doesn't go by that Jeff doesn't talk about eggs.
Yeah.
Jeff, have you tried making pudding out of boiled eggs?
No.
Okay, I'll send you the recipe.
Okay.
My daughter loves it. We make chocolate pudding out of boiled eggs and she eats it and it's delicious. And it sounds so bizarre, but once you make it, you're like, it's not bad.
Yeah. I mean, I probably go through at least 18 eggs a week, I would say.
Yeah. Do you have chickens?
No, but my niece has chickens. She actually has, I'm not trying to one up or anything, but I think she has 25
I get it. It's
chickens.
a chicken thing. Yeah.
She has 25 chickens now. And what I like is that when she gives us the eggs, they're not all uniform. They're all different sizes, all different colors. And yeah, it's really cool. Yeah.
It's the United Nations of chickens.
Cute story about that. All of our eggs are different colors. We have one chicken that lays white eggs, and my 4-year-old thinks that those are the coolest. And I'm like, they're not the coolest. But he doesn't know any better. He's only ever had fresh chicken eggs. So he doesn't. He makes.
What are the other colors that they're laying?
We have green. I don't think we have a blue. No, a blue.
Yeah, we had a couple
brown.
Of blue in the last one. Yeah.
Okay.
We have one that's almost pink, but I think it's more technically a brown. And then we have a couple like brown speckled.
If you got one that's like magenta, would you just toss it?
Magenta. Probably.
That'd be an indication of probably not.
It might be a problem. Yeah.
You know what I've learned a lot from her though. Like in the winter here, sometimes the eggs freeze before you can get to them.
Oh, interesting.
The chickens eat them.
Oh, yeah.
They eat the frozen eggs.
That's messed up.
Fascinating.
That is not okay. Do you give any kind of special names to your animals, your bunnies, your chickens? Do they get decent names?
My 8-year-old names all our animals. So if she were here, she would list off all of the names. I don't know most of the names.
Give us one or two.
Well, so we just lost 2 chickens. Our favorite one was Squiggles, and Squiggles was the wild chicken that would like live in the backyard for a couple days and come back. And we lost Zoe, but our oldest chicken's name is Zippy, and Zippy is like a badass, gets in and out of the coop. We found her in the garage one night. She got in the garage and hung out on the rafters.
Okay.
Does she wear a muumuu?
That'd be awesome. I want to get little chicken arms. Have you seen those on Amazon? You can like stick arms on them.
Yeah. Oh my god. Yeah. Pants, arms, the whole nine. I have a cat named Winston Leandre Bishop. And,
that's so cute.
And his brother is called Paul.
That's awesome.
Just Paul. Just Paul.
But we don't allow the children to name the animals because it turns into one of those I don't know. I think my wife and I enjoy too much naming things to allow anyone else involved. If we were terrible at it, I'd say go ahead, but we're pretty good at it, So, as you were a meat eater, as am I, as of Jeff, what's your favorite cut of meat?
Oh, I just did some slow roasted chuck and top sirloin last night, and that was pretty good. So I would say like a slow roasted chuck, or my husband's made a pretty good brisket recently. But if it's steak, I like a T-bone or a ribeye.
Nice. Have you ever tried a slow roasted chuck with you cook it in a slow cooker with a few other things, but like the main, the highlight of the the recipe is pepperoncinis.
No,
Oh,
You
that
dump
sounds good.
pepperoncinis in there with the juice.
Okay.
I am
Yeah.
telling you, I feel like it's called like a Milwaukee stew, or I'll find
Okay.
the recipe and send it to you.
Yes.
It is like next level
That sounds really good.
flavor. It's insane. Insane.
Yeah.
So
My friend Eric Martindale will approve of this message, is that my favorite cut is ribeye. And we both are in agreement on that. Although he makes a tomahawk every once in a while. And, I'm always jealous about
I
it.
just
Do you
saw a
buy-
tomahawk. Go ahead.
Do you buy in bulk, like beef in bulk? We tend to buy like a half a cow at once.
Yeah, I've thought of that too. I wanted to try that to go in with somebody, but I have local to us, it's called Walden Local Meats, and they do a delivery service, and it's all pasture raised, and
Oh, that's nice.
and it's always like, it's a mystery box. Even though I choose like what kinds of meats or whatever, I don't know what I'm going to get, and it's I just got 4 fillets this time, so that'll be fun to make those.
That sounds really nice.
I'm gonna have to budget for that.
Yeah,
That's what, but I will
really
say
like it,
I am against buying our groceries in a Walmart. It just doesn't
Yeah.
vibe for me. But I will say, I was grabbing some stuff the other day. I meandered through that area, and Jeff, damn if I didn't see the most beautiful tomahawk steaks
yeah.
in there. And I was
I'll
like,
have to
wait,
check that
what?
out.
I was like, dude, I don't care where it is. If I found it on the ground, I'd take it.
Yeah.
No, I don't know about that, but
It was like $35.
I tell you, I bought a leg of lamb at Walmart. I think it was like $23. It was awesome. Like I have to admit,
Interesting.
like I don't buy my meats there, but I happened to
Right.
see it, and I was impressed. I was like, wow, this is like really good lamb.
That's
Oh.
fascinating.
Kids, just so you know, Allison Clay is going to hook us up with a partner of hers, Jake
Ooh.
Steaks. Do they?
Oh,
My question for you, Allison, is: do they sell steaks? Do they sell beef? Do they sell? What do they?
of course they
What kind
sell
of
beef.
steaks? Are they
What
Jake's?
kind of steaks? Are they Jake Steaks? Rod is joining us here. He's got a bearded dragon named Elizard Breath Taylor.
That's
This is
cute.
why he's a creative monster. Aside from
I
just
love
being
that. That's
And then
awesome.
we've got Moro Costa. Well, he's thanking
Welcome.
Allison for the heads up. And so
I
these are
think
some
he's
new
a
names.
I think he's a new guest. We have
Yeah,
like a
thanks
new
for
guest
coming on.
jingle or something. Or
So before we hit the trivia question, Jeff, I have one. If you don't have one, you're welcome
Oh.
to. If I have
That's-
one,
yeah.
it's ready to go.
okay, I had
Uh,
one that was related to finance, but
Oh, mine is okay. Mine is not.
okay. You can use yours if you want.
Okay, it's related to the prize, really.
Okay.
All right. So, Natalie, before we go, like,
Yeah.
what do you want to leave our audience with? And I want to tell
Mhm.
everybody, make sure you connect with Natalie Cook in here. Connect with everybody that you run across in here. It's a right thing to do and the right way to do it. So, what would you like
Absolutely.
our audience to take away from today?
I would say if you are involved in a business at all, learn something about financial statements. You will be better off for it. Even if you don't want to touch it, even if you have other people that do it, it is the language of business. And if you understand it, you'll understand how the world works a little bit better.
Okay. Right. I love it. So that is awesome. And what's your URL again? Give it to us.
Financefightclub.com.
Bingo. Easy to say, easy to remember, and sprinkled on pizza. It tastes pretty good too. We've got our trivia question here for the prize of the day. It's this handy dandy puppy here. And it's a
Epic.
very good chance it's expired, but does Pez ever expire? I doubt it. I doubt
No,
it.
it doesn't.
All right. And you may not be able to get things like this anymore with the
A
changes
die
coming.
40, right?
You're going to have beige Pez with nothing on it. So trivia question today will be, what was the name of the new CEO at Dunder Mifflin in season 8? What was the name of the new CEO at Dunder Mifflin in season 8 of The Office? Does anybody
Wow.
want to take a stab at that?
Wow.
See it, put it up there. It's one of my favorite characters. It's one of my favorite names. Absolutely brilliant. Let's see.
While we're waiting for that, I can tell you what my trivia question was.
Yes.
Yeah, please do.
I can answer
So,
your trivia question.
You'll
on finance.
probably get this, and it was actually mentioned during this show. It's what word in the English language has 3 consecutive double letters?
I have no idea.
You're gonna hate yourself
Finance question?
when I tell you. You're gonna get so mad. I think it's the only word too that has 3 consecutive double letters, repeated letters. Yeah.
Huh.
All right, I'll give you the answer.
Okay.
Bookkeeper.
No. I am.
See, now you can use this. You could use this.
Yeah, I will use it
as a trivia question for other people. So,
yeah.
Yeah. OO.
Okay.
KK and EE. Right
Yeah,
in a row.
that makes sense. I was like, what word was mentioned? And then I'm like, I don't.
What was the word again?
It's bookkeeper.
Oh.
It's OOKKEE.
Oh, weird. I don't know. People are now answering your question.
Mississippi.
And none of them are getting it right. Commitment.
I want to know the Office trivia question because I love The Office, but I cannot remember. I'm not good at this type of trivia, but
okay.
You know.
Well, I'll tell you, if somebody doesn't get it, we're going to just go ahead and we'll keep our prize and give it to somebody else some other time. All right. And I'm going to count it down to 3, 2, and going once, going twice, going thrice. Okay. No prize today. The answer was the new CEO in season 8 introduced to The Office was Robert California, Allison Clay.
Yeah.
David Spader. We'll send it to her anyway.
Yeah.
You know?
Robert
In
California.
fact, you know what? After this, I'm going to hop on my bicycle and I'll ride it down to her. She's in Florida.
She probably typed it because this is delayed a little bit.
Oh, she might have gotten it.
So
Yeah.
It takes a while for it to show up.
We're giving it to her because it's got to go.
It's probably expired.
James Spader. That's it. James Spader. Yeah. James Spader.
Awesome.
Oh my goodness. All right. Allison will be in touch to get your longitude and latitude and get you that. We can expense that, right, Natalie? Okay.
Yeah.
I'm kidding. All right. Awesome. And Natalie, you're an absolute pleasure and a joy. Thank you so much for coming on with us.
Yeah, this is so fun.
Yeah. We should do this again. We should do one just about recipes.
I love that. We will.
We should do a food show in general. We should definitely carve that out.
We probably should. Well, we are going to let everybody else go. 6 people on here now. They hung around for quite some time, and I appreciate that.
We appreciate all of you.
Alley Girl wins. Yes. Robert California. And Natalie, if you'll stay with us for a moment, we will be able to sign you out, sign you off, and get on with the day. Thanks, everybody. See you next week, Thursday, 1:30 Eastern, and that's PM, not AM. And this is Where the Dogs of Society Howl. Jeff, Natalie, Pete, bye.
I don't know how to howl, but I'll say goodbye.
It's okay.